Hi guys, this is Chet here from Avion Technology here in the Chicagoland area. We are a digital agency that helps other digital agencies scale up, and also a lot of other small businesses scale up. And some of our clients have gone on to sell their businesses and retire in Florida. So this is something that we like to do. This is something that we really like to do. So over the time that we've worked here, over the time that we've been doing this, we see a lot of agency owners, small business owners struggle with typical problems, right? Usually most of the times the problems are around growth, right? How do you help the business make more money, essentially, right? So first of all, there's certain kinds of businesses, right? And this is actually the first thing that a small business owner needs to actually figure out is his or her business scalable? Because not all businesses are scalable. There's some businesses, especially ones that are highly commoditized, that are highly standardized, with very few touch points, that can become scalable. But even then, scaling that business up usually requires not one person but many other things. So you need, for example, VCs, right? You need investors who will give you the money to help you scale. You need a very good operating team. You need a COO, you need a CEO, you need a chief marketing officer, you need a chief human resource officer. So you need like a really good team, and that's when you scale up. Usually if you see people who have scaled up, that they are of a certain personality type, right? Not everyone can scale up. This is actually one of the biggest myths that we see in the world of business, where everyone thinks that they can scale up and they can have a really big business, and usually that's not what happens. So if you are a small business owner, the first thing you kind of have to figure out is whether your business is scalable or not, right? How do you find that out? Go and speak to a mentor, go and speak to a coach. The one good thing today about the aging of America, right, is that you find a lot of people, a lot of executives in their 50s, 60s, who are willing to kind of coach, who are willing to kind of talk to other people along the way. And these people can actually give you very good insight about how scalable your business is. So the first thing I would recommend anyone who's watching this is go find a mentor, go find a coach, go find someone within the community who can show you what your pathway is going to be like, right? I suffered from this quite a bit because the agency business, right, there's people often get confused between the agency business and an IT business, especially staff augmentation business, right? The staff aug business is how Infosys and Wipro and all these guys became rich, right? That's a very scalable business, right? The agency business is not a very scalable business. It is almost like a law firm, right? Where you bill by the hours, and you have a certain amount of clients and you charge them by the hour. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make this business scalable, till I realized that I could not make it scalable. So the first thing is figure out whether your business is scalable or not. The second thing is, if once you've gotten that down, right, then whatever problem you're facing, and let's say the problem you're facing is a lack of growth, try to find the root cause. Right? It's a very simple and it's a very well-known management technique called as the Rootcauseanalysis. There's 5 whys, right? So I've taken a typical scenario here where its business is not growing. You ask your first why, right? And this is, you could do it on a Friday, but ideally if you want to do it, you should do this with all your team members, right? With all your crew, because listening to diverse voices at the desk, at the table, can actually, often give you insights that you probably do not have. So the first is, business is not growing. Okay, why? Well, there's not enough repeat business, right? In most services business, repeat business, existing clients are your source of growth. Your sales team will go and get new projects, will go and get new business, right? But that's typically 5, 10, 15% of your new business. A majority of your current existing growth will actually come from your current existing clients. Remember that. So if the business is not growing, well, the first why is there's not enough repeat business. So the second why do we not have enough repeat business? Well, because our quality is not consistent, right? Again, remember this, in a service business, quality is paramount, right? You will probably, if you've been in business for 20 years, 10 years, you'll have a book of clients, 500, 600, 800 clients. You got to hold them really tight. You got to make sure they're happy, right? Because they are the ones who refer you to their networks. They are the ones who kind of give you repeat business. So you got to hold them real tight, and you got to make sure that the quality that you're giving them is consistent, right? So number one, business not growing. Why? Well, there's not enough repeat business. Why? Because the quality is not consistent. Why is our quality not consistent? Well, because we don't have a QA process, right? There's no one who's doing any user acceptance testing. There's no one who's doing any black box testing. I'm talking from a digital agency perspective. There's no one who's doing any black box testing. There's no one who's doing any regression or integration testing. There's no one who's doing any system testing. There's no one who's doing any UAT, right? So basically there is no QA process. Okay, why don't we have a QA process? Because there's no QA lead. We don't have a QA lead. We don't have a QA engineer. We don't have anyone who knows the science of quality assurance, because quality assurance is a science. A lot of times people think quality assurance is what we call functional, within functional testing, unit testing. They think that's QA, that's what QA is all about, but actually QA is not about that. QA is a whole science by itself, and if you do not have anyone in your company who's doing enough QA, and that's not necessarily for software, right? You could be running any business, but if you're not delivering consistently, your market share is going to go down. Okay, we don't have a QA lead. Why? Well, because we can't afford it. So your real problem is this. Now, when you can't afford something, this is usually what I say. The best way to be able to afford something when you can't afford it is to get rid of some other expense and then start someone part-time. So without increasing your revenue, right? Because a lot of times when you'll be in a situation like this, your revenue will not be growing. So when your revenue is not growing, you cannot add anyone new, right? How can you then improve the process without adding anyone new? Well, get rid of a few discretionary expenses, right? By the same time, get someone new, part-time. In today's industry, especially after the pandemic, you'll find a lot of folks who are ready to work on a 1099 basis, but who will be ready to work part-time as long as you give them things like work from home. So this is something that we spend a lot of time, most small business owners, we spend a lot of time working in our business, but not on our business. So take an hour off every week and figure out what's hurting, and then use the 5 whys to figure out how you can solve that problem. A lot of times the final why will be so surprising that you will be like, wow, why didn't I do this earlier? I have this funny story, but when my business, it went through a process of stagnation, and when I did this 5 whys, I realized that the final why, the reason why we went through a little bit of a downtime was because my laptop used to take 20 minutes to start. And so every morning, I would do all my calls without any data in front of me, just, verbally with everyone. So I was talking and I was taking all these decisions without a laptop in front of me, without any data in front of me. So something very small had ripple effects. So this is something that I think every business owner should do, and you'll come up with some absolute amazing data points. And again, I always feel that success is a journey. It's not a destination. That's a very cliched statement. I know that success is a journey, not a destination. But I think that the fun is in the journey, right? You remember when we were kids and when we were going to take a train ride, and the night before that we were so amped up. We were not so amped up about reaching the destination, but we were amped up about that whole journey, that whole experience, right? Somewhere along, in this whole thing called life, we became so fixated with success that we forgot the journey. So I think entrepreneurship is a journey. I think success is a journey, and all these are little things that you kind of realize when you are in that journey, and then you kind of improve on those. So yeah, if you're a small business owner, a small agency owner, I would definitely recommend that you do the 5 whys at least once a month to figure out what that what is it that you're doing that can be improved. So thank you so much, and if you like this, press the like button. If you want to subscribe, press subscribe. And these are my coordinates, so hit the send me an email, give me a call. Love to know more. Thank you.